1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! For those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing right there on that intro, man. If you want to get that song, hit me up. It's available on digital download only. A 10-song digital download. Hit me up, man, at 16DALIFEMUSIC@gmail.com. That's 16tolifemusic@gmail.com. Or you can DM me on Instagram at 16DALIFE, all one word. Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle me $20. And I will get it to you ASAP. Now let's hop right up into this video right here. So today we talking about Timothy Joseph McGee. Now this is the man that police allege killed the brother of Big U. The shooting happened October 17th, 1999, and at the time he was 23 years old, and his name was Dwayne Dupree. He also went by Little Draws. Now actually, the police allege that he was responsible for 12 murders and 10 attempted murders, and they say that he was one of California's top 20 serial killers. He happened to be from Atwater Village, which was a neighborhood in northeast Los Angeles, and he was from a gang known as Toonerville Reefer 13. Well, recently, April the 3rd, 2025, the Supreme Court overturned his conviction and threw out that death sentence. And so is it possible that he's coming home now? Well, let's get into this situation and we'll talk more about it. Like I mentioned earlier, he was convicted of 3 separate murders and he was charged with about 7. But I'm going to just focus primarily on the killing of Big U's little brother, who was known as Little Draws. So October the 17th, 1999, he happened to be at a studio. Little Draws was the bodyguard for Corrupt, of course, who was an artist who was signed to death row. Now they happened to be at a studio known as Echo Studios in Atwater Village, the same area and neighborhood that Timothy McGee was from. Now, as the story goes, you had some artists who had came down from Texas and they was looking to do some music with Daz, Corrupt. It was another dude there by the name of The Realist and a few other individuals who was lounging at this studio known as Echo Sounds in Atwater Village. Sometime during that night, you had a lot of dudes who was there for the studio session. Some dudes hanging out or whatever. They happened to go outside and kick it on the patio. Probably was out there, you know, smoking a little weed, whatever, just chilling. Now, when I was researching this and looking up, I seen that there was a couple different versions of what happened. And so I'm going to play a version right here. It's from a dude known as Reggie White Jr. And he's a former Compton police officer, and he was also a bodyguard for Death Row.
So I don't know if this guy was mad because they was in his territory or his neighborhood. If one of them got into it with him at the liquor store or in the area, he just didn't like Black Pyru or gang members, because it was both Bloods and Crips there. Keto Rock was there, Big C Style was there, Little Draws was there. They from the blue side. But this dude rolled by on the motorcycle and let them have it. Shot them all up with an AK-47. I remember the Realist got shot. Big Draws, he died from his gunshot wounds.
Now, I ran across a couple videos of individuals who claimed to be there, and they said suddenly, all of a sudden, you just heard somebody start shooting with an assault type rifle, possibly an AK-47 or something like that. So as the story goes, the dude with the rifle runs behind them, continue to shoot, basically just shooting at people indiscriminately, trying to hit whoever he can hit. So these individuals that's being shot at, they run back up in the lobby, and they say they push a big giant soda machine in front of the door to stop the shooter from coming in. incident. They say that the shooter then put the gun over the top of the soda machine and just continued to try to fire up in there, trying to hit whoever he could hit. Once again, at that particular shooting, you had a lot of individuals there. You had Daz, you had Corrupt, you had a dude by the name of Big C Style, another death row artist who wasn't that well known, who went by the name of The Realist, and a few dudes who had came down from Texas as well. Unfortunately, when the shooting stopped, The Realist had been shot in the foot, and Big U's little brother, who went by the name of Little Draws, had been shot and he lost his life. Now, at some point in time, Timothy McGee gets on the police radar for a multitude of shootings. They said that this dude was out there literally just going bananas with the pistol. He was shooting up a lot of stuff. And once again, they say that he was a cold serial killer. So at some point, Timothy McGee finds out that the police is looking for him in Los Angeles. The police happen to get some type of tip saying that he's in the city of Bullhead, Arizona. So they're staking out where he's staying, and when he comes outside to leave, they surround him with a bunch of cars, make him get out. They say he don't put up a struggle. Now, while he's in the Los Angeles County Jail awaiting trial on all these numerous murders that he's been charged with, they said that a riot jumped off, I guess because he felt that he was being treated unfairly by the police. And according to the police reports documenting this riot, he was locked up in a high-powered unit, and he encouraged and he incited other individuals to assault the police with oranges, apples, bleach, urine, porcelain, things like that. They say they really tore the place up. Now, something strange happened that I ain't never heard of. Eventually, he was took to trial about that riot, and he was found guilty and given 75 years to life for participating in that riot, for assaulting the guards, or whatever it is they said that he done. I never heard of anybody being taken to trial and given a life sentence behind a riot that happened in a county jail. But I definitely believe they took those extreme measures because it was alleged that he was rioting and harming the staff who worked there, the Los Angeles County Jail staff. So initially, as his trial was getting underway, he was charged with 9 murders and I believe 10 attempted murders. Then the district attorney dismissed 6 of those murder charges due to problem with witnesses, people scared to testify, and things of that nature. And so then he was just dealing with 3 murders and 4 attempted murders. Now, as the reports go, some of the dudes who was testifying against him on those 3 murders was some former gang rivals, some former gang affiliates, and also former accomplices who it was alleged participated with him in some of those murders. So in October of 2007, he was found guilty and eventually sentenced to death. Now, in the state of California, when you're found guilty of a death penalty crime, you're automatically appointed a lawyer to look over the case and to make sure, due to the fact that the penalty is so severe, that all the I's was dotted, all the T's was crossed, so on and so forth, and to make sure, you had a fair trial. So when his lawyers submit his appeal and it reaches the United States Supreme Court, they look over it, review it, and they throw out his conviction, thus also throwing out the death penalty. Now, the argument that his lawyer submitted and the United States Supreme Court agreed with is that there was a juror on his jury who was improperly removed from the trial. The juror that they're talking about is listed as juror number 5. And the reason he was removed goes something like this. During the deliberations in his trial, other jurors accused juror number 5 of not willing to deliberate fairly and of making deliberations tough. They also stated that he stated pretty much that he flat out didn't believe any of the prosecution witnesses. They said that he said he felt all the prosecution witnesses were coerced, they were lying, and they were making up stories. Keep it at 100 like I always do. That is something that the prosecution is often known to do, and they did a whole lot of that when I went to trial. Now, for those out there that's been rocking with me and paying attention to my stories, you guys will know that from day one, I have always told you guys that I was guilty. I've never got up in here and said that I was not guilty. Nevertheless, the prosecution did present a lot of witnesses. He put 2 witnesses up there against me who got up there, who lied, and who were not even at the actual shooting that I was sentenced to life for. And also, this is one very important thing to keep in mind. A lot of times when you're dealing with gang members, when the DA is trying to prosecute gang members, and especially in gang-related shootings, you dealing with the elements of the gang-banging world. You may have one gang member accused of trying to kill other gang members, and so a lot of times, many of these individuals participating in these criminal proceedings all have criminal backgrounds, all have criminal histories. Many of them are gang members, right? And so if you have an individual, a gang member who's willing to shoot, hurt, harm, kill, and take the life of somebody else. So if the prosecution happens to approach one of those dudes and say, hey man, you looking at 15 years for this attempted murder. If you come and testify in this murder trial, we'll give you a deal for 3 years, which they are allowed to do. And that's one thing that's extremely unfair about the system. The prosecution shouldn't be able to offer a dude a deal in order to come to trial and testify, because of course you're going to have many individuals willing to get up there, change their story, tell lies in order to gain their freedom. That being said, for whatever reason, juror number 5 had a lot of problems with believing the witnesses that the prosecution brought to testify against Timothy McGee. Once they brought this to the attention of the judge at that trial, he then called in juror number 5 and he questioned juror number 5 about the accusations being made by the other jurors. Juror number 5 denied making a flat-out statement that he believed all those witnesses were coerced and lying. He also denied that he was making the deliberation process hard. Nevertheless, the judge ended up dismissing juror number 5, and he brought in an alternate jury and had him replace juror number 5. Now, when they have a jury, they'll have, of course, 12 people, and they'll have like 2 or 3 alternate jurors just in case something like this happens, or someone is sick, can't finish the trial, or whatever reason. Once they replaced juror number 5 with that alternate juror, they deliberated, and then Timothy McGee was found guilty and eventually sentenced to the death penalty. So the judges on the United States Supreme Court overturned his conviction and, of course, pretty much throwing away the death penalty sentence. And the reason being was this: if juror number 5 did not believe the prosecution witnesses, then he did not believe the prosecution witnesses. That doesn't mean that he was up there being unruly, uncooperative, or things of that nature. It is the prosecution's job to convince all 12 jurors. And so they decided, the United States Supreme judges, that it essentially took away Timothy McGee's chance to have a fair trial, because it's very well likely that juror number 5 would have voted not guilty, and at the least he would have had a deadlocked jury. So now what's going to happen in this situation is the Los Angeles District Attorney is going to review the case and decide if they want to file a retrial and try to retry Timothy McGee for those cases that was overturned. Now, in my opinion, due to the fact that he was accused of so many different murders, the district attorney is probably going to elect to retry him again. Now, in the event they don't elect to retry him again, he still won't be coming home anytime soon, because keep in mind, he was given 75 years to life for that county jail riot. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring y'all that story right there. Let me say rest in peace to Dwayne Dupree, also known as Little Draws. You already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.